Welcome into PrepAquatics.com. I'm Skylar King. As always, you can email me, Skylar@PrepAquatics.com. You can follow me on Twitter, @SkylarPrep. Mid-season predictions here as we are post-Nutra Relays, and we basically have one weekend, and then it's all championship meets, conferences, sectional, state, and the big change is really been about Nutra. We talked a little bit about it last week, but the impact of the transfer of Maggie Papadopoulos and the move in from out of state of Tierney Lenahan, who's a sophomore. I apologize, I've been calling her a freshman all year because when I found out about her in USA Time searched her, it said she was 14, which is what a typical incoming freshman would be. But this was the first meet I'd seen her actually here in school, and so she's a sophomore. And I also found out that we have another superstar. We discussed ones earlier this year that are skipping high school. Piperwood Prince, chief among them because of what she did to impact the state championship team race. But Angela Coe of Charleston is also sitting out, and I also found evidence, or a lack thereof, that Michelle Kaner, my preseason 100 backstroke state champion pick from Maine West, is swimming high school. And so that opened up a lot of spots in the top six and really made impactful people move into potential state championship swims in those individual races. But obviously we're going to start with the medley relay. I've got Nutra winning this. They basically have the front half they had last year light, and then their back half is better than everyone that has a front half to contend with them. Lenahan and Papadopoulos. The only front half that's looking close right now is Hinsdale Central, but Hinsdale Central has a much steeper drop-off, especially in the butterfly, compared to what New Trier has. And then Escasa on the end is better than what Hinsdale's been throwing out there to this point this year. Rosary, same type of deal. It's looked like a pretty steep drop-off on the anchor leg from what they were getting with Sarah Joss last year. And then you have Deerfield, who is going to be in trouble in that front half in a really big way until they get to Annika Park. And I just think Deerfield's going to be too far behind because, I mean, their strength is really fly free, but the weakness that they're going to carry in the front half of the race compared to New Trier is greater than New Trier's back half compared to Deerfield's. And again, the Lenahan in particular has just totally changed the outlook for this team. There's been other peripheral swimmers that are stepping up into bigger roles and look like they're going to have a state meet impact. But basically, this state meet turned on the transfer of Papadopoulos and the move in of Lenahan. And unfortunately for the rest of the state, just nobody else has made a big enough improvement year over year or picked up freshmen to make a big enough impact to overcome that, which, again, in many ways replaces Papadopoulos isn't anyone near as valuable as Gridley because of how good Gridley was as a sprint freestyler, but Lenahan, it basically steps right in there for Noveline. And again, not quite as good, sure, but isn't going to score that many fewer individual points and isn't going to slow him down enough to cost him that much on the relays. And in fact, I have them winning the medley. Rosary, Deerfield, Hinsdale, Stevenson, St. Charles North is the rest of my top six. I have St. Charles North's 2 stars going 3 relays. Stevenson's probably the team that has performed the best in season in terms of raising their profile just through their in-season performances. And they look like a clear top 5 contender. My bottom 6 is Libertyville, Ignatius, Loyola, Naperville North, Naperville Central, and Buffalo Grove. In the 200 free, I've got Annika Park repeating still. I've been kind of tracking to see what races she swims, and it seems for the most part when I catch results on Deerfield, Park is swimming the 200 free and the fly. And so I am not anticipating an event switch at this point, even though I think it's fairly clear that she could probably win the 100 free at the very least, the 500 free, maybe some other races as well, but it's sure looking like Park's going to stick and stay 200 free, 100 fly. Jenna Kerr, we've discussed it, looks like a clear swap over. Then Renee Tan, Sadie Murphy, Haley Volchek, Kayla Newman in the top 6. Olivia Safrakova for New Trier 7th. She's probably the swimmer that stepped up the most since last season. That is a returner for New Trier. Gianna Capello, Downers North, Enya Linson, St. Charles North, Hannah Wankowski, Stevenson, Amelia Murphy, West Chicago, Taylor Ote, Whitney Young. The IM, again, here's where you're seeing the ramifications of the girls not swimming. Julietta Tracy is my new state champion in the IM for Ignatius. Izzy Boo from St. Charles North 2nd, Chloe Diner, Oswego East 3rd, Caroline Kramer, Hinsdale 4th, Jenna Hendrickson, Wheaton North 5th, Katie Gressick, Oswego East 6th. And then the bottom, Isabella Ramos, Vernon Hills, Burlington Bocos, Hinsdale Central, Maya Arroyo, Ignatius, Elise Newlands, New Trier, Papa Nicholas from New Trier, and Victoria Serdica from Buffalo Grove. And so that top 6 got much softer in the IM. You lose not just a state record holder, but also another girl who has been sub 2 minutes in Angela Coe. And that IM, the IM is not an easy event to move into. You're kind of an IMer or you're not. And so I think that race is going to be impacted a lot more than if it was a freestyle race, for instance. 50 free, very little's changed. Kit Schneider, Isabella Chow, Becky Rentz, Katie Kane, Isabella Wilhelm. The biggest shakeup here is about freshman Tess Stavropoulos from St. Charles North. I have 6th. In the bottom, Lauren Collins, Gracie Colvin, and then Claire Conklin, West Chicago, is the other freshman that I put in the sprint freeze. And then Michaela Durkin, Guilford, Brooke Corrigan, Rockford Christian, Georgia Collar, Libertyville. So that race was mostly unchanged from the preseason, except that I fit Stavropoulos and Conklin into the mix there. Stavropoulos I've been really impressed by. She's really held up well at some big meets for St. Charles North. Diving, I honestly didn't touch. I don't see enough diving results to really mess with this. I'm sure it'll change when I see what everything shakes out with its sectionals. Stadler from GBS, Marnie Howard, Normal West, Kay Janae Fremd, Maggie Bendall, Cary Grove, Riley Strahl Palatine, Siglinski York, Camille York, Emily Ziemba Palatine, Allison Mulvey, Downers North, Megan Martell, Hinsdale, Shissine Shiota, Glenbrook North, and Ember Stinnett of Barrington. The fly, again, Coe now out, but still Park state champion. Rentz, Duhamel, Arroyo, Boozma, and Lauren O'Connor, the top 6. Again, people are probably going to raise eyebrows that I still have O'Connor in there. O'Connor had such a great taper last year that I think you just got to have faith, because there's a real power vacuum after that top 5. And O'Connor has the seasoning and of last year's state meet, and I've got the confidence over everyone else that's below her that she's going to deliver based on what the time she's going right now. But Park and Rentz, I think, was going to be in a dogfight with Coe for 2nd, and I think she's just clear 2nd now. And then Duhamel, I saw her outduel Arroyo head-to-head at Rosary, at Marmion at the Rosary Invitational. And so that's why I'm giving her the nod for 3rd at this point. Bottom 6, Amanda Schmidt, Matea, Katie Gressick, Oswego East, Sydney Lewis, Highland Park, Julia Berry, Sandberg, Avery Watson, Crystal Lake Central, and Bailey Ammerman, Peoria, Notre Dame. 100 free, here we are again, Julietta Tracy, double state champion. I She's just got the state meet experience over Lenahan. I have no idea what the state meet was like for her last year as a freshman, but suffice to say, I don't think it's going to be quite what the atmosphere is going to be for her first state meet in Illinois. And I like giving the nod to a senior that's been through the wars in this state and has swum big meets in the FMC pool to this point. The rest of my top 6: Isabella Chow Kenwood, Katie Kane Fremd, Gracie Colvin Hananega, and Hannah Wankowski Stevenson. The bottom 6: Avery Miles Hananega, Conklin. Again, there's that freshman from West Chicago in the 100 as well. Brooke Monarchy, St. Ignatius, Michaela Durkin, Guilford, Safrakova, New Trier, and Sophia Hayes, Naperville Central. 500 free, again, no Piper Wood Prince. So Jenna Kerr, to me, is the clear state champion favorite. She has far and away outperformed everyone else that's been swimming the 500 in season. I have Chloe Diner from Oswego moving into the 500 free for second, followed by Jenna Hendrickson, Wheaton North, Bocas, Hinsdale Central, Limson, St. Charles North, Sadie Murphy, OPRF, Volchek from RB, Renee Tan, Whitney Young, Kayla Newman, Highland Park, Bowalik, St. Charles North, Capello, Downers North, and Sydney Vandervelde from Tinley Park. Again, I think that's going to be a really soft 6th and 12th still. There's nothing's happened that's changed that for me. There would have to be a few more move-ins to convince me otherwise. 200 relay. This has looked like Ignatius's relay all year. They were my favorite coming in, and this is the relay I feel like they performed by far the best in compared to the competition. Hinsdale, New Trier, Stevenson, LT, St. Charles North. Again, this is just a relay for New Trier that I've seen keep performing well throughout the season. This is a relay I had big question marks about because they didn't have enough drop dead sprinters coming in. They still aren't going to have their star here in Lenahan on this relay, but they've done enough as the season's gone on to make me have confidence that they're definitely going to be in the top 6. Stevenson, LT, St. Charles North rounds out that top 6. And then Deerfield, Oswego East, Naperville Central, West Chicago, Buffalo Grove, Libertyville is the rest of the top 12. But it's getting grisly down at the bottom of those last couple spots of that top 12 in terms of what the time's going to be. Backstroke, I've got Lenahan winning the backstroke. Just too many graduations on top of Kaner not swimming. This is not very strong up at the top of the people that are returners when you think about state title level times. And then Vera Connick, freshman for Rolling Meadows, looks like the clear number 2 when you look at what she's done, lifetime best. The rest of my top 6 is Jennifer Chen Stevenson, O'Connor from Rosary, Maria Chang Loyola, and Emma Darling Lake Forest. Those are kind of your returning scorer and backstroke specialist swimmers that look like scoring locks. And then in the bottom, it's going to get a little dicey here. I have Duhamel from Naperville North. She's really posted much better times in the backstroke than she did at any point last year. Susan Ellis from Libertyville, Samansky from Maine South, Abby Collins, Stevenson, McNamara, Ignatius, Megan Mead, New Trier rounds out my top 12. In the breaststroke, I really haven't seen anything to break up the Iskasa Papa Nicholas top 2. Then I have Kramer from Hinsdale, Naraki from Rosary, Duran from Taft. Again, we don't see her all year because she swims for Taft. Michaela Duran is going to be in this mix. And then Georgia Collar from Libertyville. In the bottom, I have Rui Chitan from Neuqua Valley, Olivia Moore from Rosary. That's a swap. I had Bella Watovic in that same spot at the start of the season, but Olivia Morris coming as a freshman and really outperformed her to this point, and so that's why I've given her the spot now. Ramos from Vernon Hills, Ilkiu from Deerfield, Claire Schiffer, Naperville Central, and Imogen Duffy Bennett is the rest of the top 12. 400 relay, I've got St. Charles North winning it. They have no weaknesses on this relay, and that's something that is really valuable. It's always nice to have a superstar, but when everyone has the confidence and everybody that can really breed greatness, and it has for St. Charles North so far this year, they've got the best time in the state, and I saw them split their relays in a meet and have their 4 fastest on the back end of their 2 relays, and they went from getting second and third to first and second after the 300. So these girls are gamers, and I'm giving them the nod now. Ignatius, New Trier, Stevenson, Hinsdale, LT is the rest of my top 6. Again, I talked quite a bit about the LT relays, and so these revised predictions reflect how impressed I am with them. The bottom, I have Oswego East, West Chicago, Naperville North, Rosary, OPRF, and Nequa Valley. Rosary could definitely go for the 200 relay, but their freestyle has just not looked great past rents. Olivia Moore has looked good at times, but nothing like what they got from Jas last year. There's going to have to be a serious move made by the non-rents contingent in freestyle for Rosary to top 6 the second relay. And so the revised team predictions, I have New Trier winning it, 152 points. Hinsdale Central 126, Ignatius 121, St. Charles North 107, Stevenson 103. That's my top 5. I have Rosary at 93, Deerfield at 83, Oswego at 63. That's 8th. And then there's a drop off to LT at 38 for 9th, and Fremd at 34 for 10th. That's Fremd scoring no relays. That's just a diver and Katie Kane twice. And so this would be very unlikely. We'll have to see if one of these kind of middling teams steps up more with second and with 1 or 2 relays that propels them towards the top 10, because I don't really recall a team getting top 10 without scoring a relay. And that's what I have Fremd doing right now. But it is because when you have almost 6 teams at 100 points, which again, with Rosary at 93, they're right there, 7 points away from having 6 teams at 100. It's obviously going to put points at a premium and decrease what that score is going to be as you go down the line. And this has certainly been the rich get richer type season, and this reflects that. But Naperville North, I have at 33, only 1 point out of top 10. Libertyville 31, Barrington 30. But Barrington also, I have them scoring no relay points. Libertyville, I have them scoring 2 relays, but both in the bottom. And so there's just, so West Chicago, Libertyville are probably the 2 teams most likely to make a leap up if their relays overperform. Oak Park, I have at 15th, basically with an 11th place 400 relay, and their 1 individual star. Again, relays are going to make the difference. If someone can make a move in the relays, then I think they could easily take that 10th place spot away from away from Fremd. Meanwhile, I got LT 9th, basically with just 2 free relays, no individual points. And so, if they can find a way to score a 3rd relay, we just really haven't seen their medley much. in these invitationals, their top kids have all been going 2 individual races. Or again, if they pick up some individual points, LT can really secure their spot in the top 10. But I suffice to say, I think there's 8 teams that are top 10 locks, being New Trier, Hinsdale, Ignatius, St. Charles North, Stevenson, Rosary, Deerfield, and Oswego. Past that, dogfight. I just think all those teams have 1 or 2 absolute top 6 stars, and that you just don't have with the rest of those teams. Or like in Libertyville and Oak Park cases, you have the top 6 stars, but there's really just no sprint backup for them. Which is why there's not more relay points coming. Because generally speaking, if you have that star, it means you're going to have the relay backup because your supporting cast doesn't need to be as good. But it just hasn't looked great for Barrington and Oak Park during the season with those relays, in spite of the fact that they've got 2 of the better freestylers in the state. So this weekend, I'm taking off to have some maintenance done on my car. For those of you looking for a meet to follow, even if it's just on Meet Mobile, the Deerfield Invitational is going on. Rosary is there. I've seen Rosary several times already. Them and Deerfield are the only 2 teams that really would impact this type of top 10 race that are in attendance there. Most of the top teams are taking this week off in preparation for conference. I do anticipate it being at a conference meet next weekend. I am going to try to make the West Suburban Silver Meet on Friday night. It's a real bummer that they moved that meet to Friday because it makes it much harder for me to attend. But that's definitely the conference this weekend with the most intrigue. LT has a strong team. We know Hinsdale's a strong team, and with Sadie Murphy, Oak Park has a top individual that's worth tracking as well. And Hinsdale and LT, generally speaking, have a lot of close heads-up meets in these conference showdowns, which is another reason I'm checking that out. And so if I don't get a show out in a timely fashion because I'm trying to make a meet on Friday, I'll do my best to record earlier next week to get something out before I go to that meet. Again, a lot of conference meets going. You have the Duquesne, which is the St. Charles schools. You have the DVC, which is all the Naperville Aurora schools. That will probably be a decent meet competitiveness-wise because none of those schools really rises above the rest this year. And you don't see that often teams tapering their number 3 swimmers to bolster their varsity roster. And so if someone does find a way to do something like that, that can really swing that meet in a big way. But next time we will we'll be talking more about conference meets. And again, we're just a couple weeks away from trying to figure out where all these stars are officially going in these sectional lineups. And basically a month from this weekend, we're going to be crowned a state champion at FMC. And so it should be a fun last 4 weeks. As always, you can email me, SkylerPrepAquatics.com. You can follow me on Twitter, @SkylerPrep. We'll be back next week with conference coverage here at PrepAquatics.com.